So after my mom died, and I was in Australia when I found out that she died from an overdose. I was in Australia on tour. I still had no idea what happened. I was like, was it an aneurysm, a heart attack? Like, what the hell happened? And then I got her autopsy and her papers back, and it's, you know, her death certificate, and it said methamphetamine intoxication was the cause of death. I'm like, holy shit, you know? And
because that was a surprise.
yeah, big time. I mean, and I had no idea that she was using again and stuff. So it broke my heart, and, you know, I've been dealing with it. But as soon as I got back home from Australia, I went straight over to her house, and I went up in her bedroom, and I started digging through shit, and I found her stash, you know, and I found all these, you know, pipes and, you know, little bags and vials and stuff and all that shit. But dude, the difference is, like, this speed was different than the stuff I was used to. Like, back when I was around that scene, living in Ionia, and that it was that epidemic at that time, it was being cooked in this area, and it was like Sudafed, like shake and bake, kind of country bumpkin sort of crank.
I knew you were talking about like just like that homemade shit kind of.
Yeah, it was like white powdery stuff, and you know, put it in a pipe or a light bulb or a foil, and
like Jenkum or whatever.
Not exactly.
Not exactly, but yeah, I know what you're saying. But I'm just saying, like, it's like a localized mixture. It's like a local recipe.
Yeah.
But it got the job done.
Anyways, this shit that I found after she had died, when I found her stash, this was straight crystal glass. And I had never even seen shit like that before, right? I had heard about it, and everybody's seen Breaking Bad and shit, but I'm looking at it, I got this vial, and it's like half full, and I'm like, damn, and it just looks like broken glass in there, like shards.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd never...
Does it look anything like that? I mean, we just brought up a picture here.
Yeah. I mean, I could send you the pictures of it, but, dude, you want to know what the first thought that went through my head was? I was like, man, I should just take a little bit of this and put it aside for like a rainy day.
Yeah.
You know, because where the hell else would I get some? You know, I don't know anybody anymore or whatever. That's like that addict, you know, coming through. It's like this. Literally, the stuff that I'm holding in my hand killed my mom. And my first thought is I should take some and just hide it. Like, that way, if I need it someday,
yeah,
you know, I'll have it.
Man.
And, yeah, it was just, that was a crazy thought, you know. And I just ended up, you know, getting rid of it. I got a hold of my buddy, my friend Alec, who's a police officer I went to high school with growing up. And, I called him and I was like, man, can you have one of your boys come just grab this stuff? Like, I don't want to put it in the trash can because I'll go digging back through there later, or my dad will, or something, or somebody will, or I just needed to get, like, actually dispose of it, you know? And so my mom would have hated that. She always told me, don't even speak to the police. But yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Man, another crazy thing too is, like,
that's a good definition of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's like I said, this literally killed my mom, and I'm thinking, man, I should just take a little bit.
Yeah.
And put it aside. Nobody would know.
And also thoughts like for a rainy day, or I would be like, let me keep some so I can scrapbook it. I'm not even joking. That's what my brain would do. Yeah. So I can, like, have like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll think like, let me keep some for like a memory, you know what I'm saying? Like, but there's a part of my brain that's like, man, I don't know. That's just a good... Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I know we had texted kind of around that time, but
well, yeah, man, and I appreciate you reaching out. You know, this guy, he's got a big heart. I mean, you stayed in touch with me through all that when I was in the hospital with my dad. You kept in touch, and you offered to come walk my dog when I broke my leg. Like, man, you're a good dude, and I appreciate all that, you know?
Well, thanks, man. You're one of the realest guys you're one of the realest people I've been around. I don't know how God gave you that gift to be so real.
I don't know.
And I'm sorry to hear about your mom, dude.
Yeah. She loved you, bro.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
She loved you, man.
Where did I met her somewhere?
Did you?
Yeah, I met her somewhere. I'm trying to think if it was at a show of yours.
Yeah, probably.
She was at a lot of your shows, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she came to so many shows. Like, I would be in fucking New Orleans or Seattle or Texas or somewhere, dude. And she would just show up in my green room and I'd be like, what are you doing here? She's like, oh, I hitchhiked down with so-and-so and, can you get me a hotel room?
Really?
I'm like, holy shit, Mom. I'll sleep on the bus. You can have my room.
What was her spirit like? Tell us, if it's okay with you, let's just think about her for a second.
Man, she was hard to explain. She was a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I've never met anybody else like her, that's for sure. I mean, she was born in 1960 on Halloween.
No way.
Yeah, she's a Scorpio. She was always kind of like psychic and always had this intuition. Always, even though she was an outlaw, she like never, she skirted around the law in a lot of different times, but yeah, she loved music and she loved art. She was an artist. She made a lot of art.
You loved music, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember being a little kid, and she would like show me all these, do you know who this is? Oh, this is, Led Zeppelin, or this is, Pearl Jam, or this is, she used to play, she did like backwards masking where she'd play the record backwards and find like secret messages in it. And she was playing me when I remember being just a little kid. She was playing Revolution No. 9 backwards, the Beatles' White Album, showing me how it says "Turn me on, dead man," and I'm just like 7 years old or something. It's like, Mom, what are you doing? But yeah, she was amazing, man. She dealt with a lot of trauma in her life. I mean, I think she had a wild upbringing anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when she was...
Is that a picture of her when she was young?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. When she was like 16 years old.
Bro, go back to that one picture. Look at what a curious, but also kind of mysterious young lady she is.
Yeah. But witchy too.
Like there's something different about her, man. Just like she came from like another realm just to audit humanity.
Yeah, she definitely did. She was tapped into some shit that we will never really know about. And it was always crazy too, because like, man, she's got so many crazy stories, and I would hear these stories and I wouldn't even believe them, She's
Really?
like, oh, I was hanging out with those dudes from Blow, like down in like Miami and shit. They had, they were breaking out lines this long, and they were, they had boats full of money. They didn't have anywhere else to put their money, so they just would buy a boat and just put it on this boat and park it in the marina. Dang. Like just with full of cash, And then, things, just crazy things. And I would not believe her, right? Because these stories would be so insanely just like, whatever, And then, like she used to hang out with like all the bands she would get backstage. She's got, I got pictures with her, like Leonard Skinner and, all these old bands. She said one of those bands, what was that band? 38 Special or some shit like that. One of these bands had a damn chimpanzee that would ride on roller skates and bring drinks around.
Really? Who was it?
That's what she said anyways. And I'm like, okay, And then later on.
She seems like such a gypsy woman.
Yeah, she was, man. Later on in life, there would be somebody, that show up, one of her old girlfriends or something. Debbie, remember that time we were partying with the band and they had the chimpanzee? And I'm like, are you shitting me? And it would always be like some story that I did not believe. But just crazy shit like that, man. She had a wild life, and it makes sense that she would go out like that, because she's not going to go out in some boring way. She's not going to get sick and drag it out. She's just going to, and that's the other thing about her is she would be there and like you're partying and you're hanging out, and then it's like, where's Deb? Like she would just leave without saying a word. And like, that's how she left, is how she always did. Mm. And it was, now that I've had more time to process it and just been in a lot of therapy and stuff, and like, I mean, obviously it still tears me up. I'm like grieving a lot in my dreams. Mm-hmm. I wake up like suffocating in my sleep, and my mom comes to me, but it's never like a sweet, like beautiful thing. It's always like really painful. And I wake up and I'm just like, I'm not breathing, and I'm crying so hard in my sleep that it just wakes me up and my throat hurts and my head is throbbing, and so I feel like I'm grieving a lot in my sleep or something. But
well, she seems so whimsical. It's almost like the only place you could even touch her as in your dreams in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like she just seems like such an ethereal type of creature. You know, even hearing you talk about it, man. It's so wild that she loved music so much, and that the thing that she created was a musician. It's just kind of like, like I don't know. It's kind of it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes our mothers go through a lot, I think, and we don't realize it, you know? Because they don't, a lot of moms don't, they don't really share all that with you. I think.
Well, I think that was a big part of her, you know, addiction and stuff was, let's see. I mean, she had a crazy upbringing anyways. My grandpa was always drinking, coming in, smashing up the house, and it was just a wild place to grow up. And then, you know, she was with my dad, William Apostle, and he died when he was 35. I was 2 years old. And that was only a couple years after her sister was murdered. So her sister was her best friend, and Mel, who's now free, you know, on a fucking bass boat somewhere, he killed my Aunt Carla with a .45, point blank, closed case, fucking, you know. And my mom, you know, there was that. And then a couple years later, my dad died of an overdose, or, I mean, that's what it was. But also there's a lot of like kind of word on the street is somebody actually gave him a hot shot, like on purpose. There's this other thing that I have. It's like this experiential density, like because of the hardships that I've been through, and even as a young man, teenager, young kid, I am able to have this perspective that I feel like a lot of people don't have, and I have this kind of like terminal uniqueness in a way that's like I never feel like anybody would know what it's like to be in my shoes, like what I've been through, what I've seen, the life I've had, you know, the trauma that I've dealt with, you know, because it's much more than just, you know, having parents that were on drugs. I mean, I was molested when I was a child. I was, you know, fucking sodomized before I was, you know, 7 years old or something.
Damn.
You know, and so that, you know, there's a lot of shit, and I live on this island that I feel like nobody would ever understand what it's like to be me, right? And so I think that's like more of the negative side of it. But the experiential density, I think, is kind of like I can use it as a positive thing, where it's like I have this perspective. Like most people, like, you know, or not most people, but a lot of people, you know, they grow up and their parents feed them and they buy them a car when they're 16 and everything's fine. And like, man, I didn't have any of that shit. You know what I mean? I had to figure it out for myself. And I have this perspective that a lot of people, you know, by the time I was 15 or whatever, I was more of an adult than my teachers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so one thing that I've kind of considered at one point was my wife and I, we were looking at houses in Nashville, and we ended up just staying where we are, and we're going to like do a renovation and stuff. But we were kind of house shopping a little bit. And, you know, I was looking around at these different houses, and they're all like, I didn't want any of them because they're all like on an acre and a half, and they're like tall and skinny. And it's like, man, I want to live in the country. You know, I don't like this shit.
I don't want to live in a bunch of stairs. That's what some of those houses feel like, a bunch of stairs.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you? I'm on the stair.
Yeah, or like you look out the window and you can see your neighbor, you know, washing their dog or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, but as we were looking at these houses, and I was looking at them, and you know, there was a couple that we were kind of thinking about, and I was like, man, is my son going to be a kid that grows up in a house like this? You know what I mean? Because I grew up in a moldy meth house, you know, that didn't even have a furnace, you know. We just had like a wood stove that always went out. Right after she died, there were so many little things that I would feel, you know, like just these like certain animals would come around or whatever, and like a dragonfly, or I'd see a doe with like 2 fawns, and I'm like, man, it would just break my heart, you know what I mean? It's like, that's my mom and that's me and my brother. or whatever, you know? And for a minute there, it was like pissing me off. It's like, I don't want a fucking dragonfly. Like, I want my mom, you know? Like, fuck that dragonfly, you know? But now I look for those things, you know, a cloud or whatever it is, just the way the breeze feels. But my mom, she was an amazing artist. She would constantly be calling me saying, hey, I took this hubcap and glued this to that, and I made this little alien, you know, battle, and I did this, and, you know, and so she always made this stuff. And this was actually the piece that she was working on the night that she died, because she was always going to make the next record cover. That was kind of our deal. So this thing that's in the frame with the hand and the little crystal ball and stuff like that, it was unfinished. So we kind of like filled the back end with some portraits and stuff like that. But this was the last piece that she was working on.
Right.
And it kind of it really, and you know, it gives her essence of just kind of how she was. I mean, she was like a million little things all glued together, and very iridescent, and so that's the art that we chose for the cover, and you know, she got to make the record cover like she wanted to, so I'm stoked on that. And yeah, the songs, I think a lot of them are about just kind of what I was feeling at the time. And you know, there's a tune on there called Wrestling an Angel. There's one called Still I Crash, which is like pretty much me exactly. I think I wrote that like days after she passed. Just like me speaking to her, you know, talking about how I just feel like I got to learn how to walk all over again. You know, I feel like a baby deer and my legs are all wobbly, and I'm just trying to learn how to stand up on my own this time, you know, without her. And